Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ross and Wizzy's Fan Fiction Power Hour. I'm your host, Ross Pitt, Shark Hunter. And here with me, as always, is my host. Yes, that's right. My host.
I am the host embodying Ross.
That's right. It's not actually. We always have him here, because technically he doesn't always speak. Wizzy was a bit under the weather at this point, so we just had to get him.
I am here to speak from the soul of Ross Pitt. I will be the second host tonight on the podcast. I am Malguthu.
Isn't he cute? Well, anyways, tonight we are going to be reading another fan fiction. Can you believe it? Whatever your name is.
Fan fiction, my favorite.
Yeah, that's right. It's Wizzy.
Ah, man. Way to ruin the bit.
I didn't want to keep that bit going, you know. I was afraid we were going to go to the end and then I wouldn't even be in the credits.
I mean, you never are in the credits. We don't really have credits.
Gonna X out my name on the thumbnail and write Malguthu.
Anyways, Wizzy, what'd you do with my child?
Child? What child?
You don't remember?
Hmm.
You were babysitting them.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, God. Well, to let go of my grief, or whatever, we're gonna be reading a fan fiction today. What is that fan fiction called? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is Where Is My Daughter by the Sleepless Beholder. Now, if that name sounds familiar, shh, don't tell anybody. But I think it was probably, they did a something else that they don't want us to see anymore.
Still up on our channel.
Might be able to find something. It involves a few particular characters in this story, actually. I'm also actually trying to figure out if it was him. Okay, yeah, it is him.
It was. I had checked. I found the link and it went to a 404.
It's a tragedy, really, what happened to that story.
It was so good.
Let's hope he doesn't, really fucking hate that story for some reason. Let's hope it's not traumatic. A very good reason.
Turns out their father was a deer who was killed on a hunting trip.
You never know. Beholders are weird. All right. It's such a shame because that is one of the funniest stories we've read.
It was.
This is Where Is My Daughter by the Sleepless Beholder. Chapter Mom? And it's in quotation marks, just so you know. Sunset over here! Pinky called out, and the redhead followed the voice to find her friend's table at the cafeteria. She's also a yellowhead.
Ooh!
Smiling, she quickly took her place between Rainbow Dash and the most recent addition to her quite large group.
How's everything going? Oh, how's everything doing? I think it meant going, but it says doing.
Right.
She mixed up. She was gonna say, how's everyone doing? And then she changed it mid-sentence.
That's a great way to look at that. Sunset asked her, and Wallflower looked up from her food with a sigh. I think I flunked the math exam. I asked a couple of classmates and our answers didn't match.
If you need to retake the test, I can help you with what you're struggling with.
Twilight offered, and Wallflower got nervous. No, it's okay. I can study on my own, she stammered, trying to make herself invisible. Dog, I freaking feel this, man. Sunset put a hand on her shoulder.
It's okay. Twilight has already helped all of us with exams before. She wants to help you.
Wallflower visibly relaxed and nodded. Okay, thank you for the help. Twilight smiled.
My pleasure. Now, what is giving you trouble?
Suddenly, the speaker in the cafeteria briefly came to life with Celestia's voice. Sunset Shimmer, your mother is waiting for you in the entrance. The entire cafeteria went dead silent. Every student turned to look at the redhead, currently frozen in shock with wide eyes.
That would be scary.
My mother?
Sunset said in a whisper, her hands trembling. You don't have a mother? Wallflower asked, and the question seemed to snap the redhead out of her trance. Sunset stood up, and without saying anything, walked as fast as she could towards the exit of the cafeteria. Okay, totally going to just throw two oddball theories out there. One, this is Sunset's mother from the Equestria Girls universe, and she got word that Sunset was here, but it wasn't her Sunset.
Oh, her Sunset's actually dead, and it's sad.
Yeah. Either that or she ran away or something. Same difference, am I right? Or
Yeah.
it could be that it's actually... This one might actually be sadder. It's actually Wallflower's mother, but she just forgot her daughter.
I was thinking like maybe it's Chrysalis or something, and she's pretending to be her mother.
What would Chrysalis be doing there?
I don't know, but I think it could work in a fanfic. She like somehow got through the portal.
Yeah, sure. Ooh, what if in Equestria Girls, totally off topic-ish, what if in Equestria Girls, Chrysalis is like a really good method actor?
Yo! She blends into the scene perfectly.
That's just a funny idea. Fan fiction writers, go about it.
Sunset, wait!
Rainbow shouted, but she was already gone.
This can't be happening. She can't be here.
Sunset said to herself as she started sprinting to the entrance, her mind racing with all of the possible explanations of how she could be here. She almost smashed through the glass door when she arrived at the entrance, looking frantically for her mother, until she was suddenly lifted off the ground by a strong hug. Hello, Sunset?
That voice.
Sunset thought. She recognized that voice. It was her voice. The woman released Sunset, and she turned around to confirm her suspicions. It was her, a taller, more mature version of Sunset, wearing a black business suit with a red shirt underneath. However, there was one noticeable difference. This Sunset's hair was completely red.
Ronald?
Yes.
You're not my mother, nor I your daughter.
Sunset said, getting defensive.
Why did she lure me here? What does she want? Why call herself my mother?
The woman smiled. And you're not a human, nor I a teenager. Hearing her own voice coming from another person was upsetting Sunset, making her more nervous.
How do you know about me?
The woman chuckled. I use this ancient source of all knowledge called... She quickly pulled out a cell phone from one of her pockets with one hand. Wikipedia. Her thumb swiped the screen, showing a wiki page talking about Sunset Shimmer.
What the?
The redhead Which redhead? The redhead snatched the phone from her hand.
Who wrote all of this?
She asked as she saw how long and detailed it was. The woman answered sarcastically. Newsflash, Sherclop. Come on.
What does that even mean?
It's like Newsflash Sherlock, I guess.
Oh.
But Sherclop.
I didn't get it.
It's either them making Sherlock Holmes a horse name, or it could be a reference to Sherclop Pones, which was also kind of the same thing, but...
I would have gone for Fetlock Holmes.
Well, what a shame. Magical girl transformations and anomalies get a lot of attention. Your lucky people believe it to be just flashy propaganda for your band. Sunset cringed at the use of equestrian diction by her not-self.
Why are you so calm about this?
Oh, I totally freaked out when I first saw a younger version of myself wearing adorable pony ears and a long ponytail, but I eventually calmed down and followed you for 2 months before deciding to make my dramatic appearance.
So is this the human Sunset from the Equestria Girls universe?
Yeah.
Oh.
2 months?
That's what I said. Oh, before I forget, can you turn into the one with the wings and dress? I think they call it Daydream Sunset. I need to see it in person. The woman said with stars in her eyes. Sunset shook her head.
Wait, so you are this world, Sunset?
The woman moved her head from side to side. Yes and no. She extended her hand towards her in a greeting. My name is Sunshine Shimmer.
Sunshine?
Sunset asked, confused, not taking her hand. The woman shrugged. My guess is that our parents gave us different names.
Our parents?
Sunshine's carefree attitude vanished as she noticed the sadness that suddenly took hold of her younger not-self's eyes.
Who are they?
Sunset asked in a broken voice, her hands shaking. Sunshine put a hand on her shoulder and spoke in a soft, motherly voice. How about I tell you over some milkshakes, Sugar Cube Corner? Sunset sniffed, trying to hide some tears.
Okay. Do you have a car?
More sniffs. Lovely. Yes, Steer is waiting for us near the statue. Sunset wiped her face with her arm.
Who's Steer?
Sunshine smiled. My driver. Sunset watched through the tinted window of Sunshine's expensive red SUV, trying to put some order in the myriad of questions she had running in her mind, eventually deciding to start with the easier ones.
So, you're rich?
She asked the woman sitting at her side. The average citizen would consider me so. Sunshine pulled out a small black card from one of her pockets and handed it to Sunset. The teenager's eyes opened wide as she read the golden writing on the plastic rectangle.
You work for Sunward Destiny?
I own Sunward Destiny, Sunshine said with a smug smile.
Well, you have to be lying. Rarity has bought me some of your designs. It's impossible that she hasn't at least heard about the owner of a fashion brand.
I take good care of my privacy, Sunshine said.
That's why I named my company after myself.
That's a fair point. I mean, ish.
Yeah.
Sunshine said while pointing at the tinted glass of the SUV.
Okay, I have to introduce you to Rarity. Her reaction will be priceless.
Sunset exclaimed with a big grin on her face. Sunshine joined in her excitement. Oh, will she squee? I love it when they squee.
Oh, I hope she does before she faints.
They both shared a hearty laugh, the ambient in the vehicle becoming far less tense. Can I ask you one question? Sunshine asked. Sunset chuckled.
Sounds like one question.
I can end you.
She could have people hired to assassinate her without a trace.
It's fun being her.
Sounds fair. Shoot.
Bang. Why are you, or at least look like, a teenager? Sunset looked at herself.
Oh, yeah. I just kind of accepted it with time. I was like this when I passed through the mirror.
Do you age?
Yes, I've grown a few centimeters since I started living here. Twilight is much younger than me, and she also appeared in this world like a teenager. The same thing happened with the sirens, but they managed to remain young with their magic until we defeated them.
So you're an adult trapped in the body of a teenager.
I guess. I also feel like a teenager. Probably due to hormones and things like that.
Interesting. I thought that wiki page had covered everything.
About that.
Sunset pulled out the phone from her pocket and looked at the page.
I need to get rid of this somehow.
I'm gonna make a wish. I can take care of it for you, along with some other things, Sunshine offered with a smile as she took back her phone. Sunset sighed.
I guess my next question would be...
Suddenly, the driver called out to them.
We have arrived.
Putting the conversation on pause, Sunshine smiled. Thank you, Steer. You don't need to wait for us. I will call you when we need you, she said as the doors of the SUV opened for her and Sunset.
I will go get some coffee then,
he shouted as the two women got out of the car and entered the small cafe. They took the table farthest from the entrance, which was hidden in a small corner that gave them some extra privacy. So, you want to know why I went to your school saying that I was your mother? Sunshine asked as they sat down.
Yeah? Why didn't you just visit my apartment? Or at least not say that we're related?
Seriously, she must have, kind of broken whatever was left of Sunset's hope for her mother.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Sunshine put her hands together. Well, as I said, I wanted to make a dramatic appearance. Sunset chuckled.
Was it really necessary?
I don't know if this happens regularly in Equestria, but suddenly having a younger clone of yourself is kind of a fairy tale here. If I ever get a biography, I want it to be interesting and dramatic.
I'm sensing a bit of my old narcissism in you,
Sunset said with a grin. Sunshine rested her head on one of her hands. Are you implying that you moved past that?
Totally.
Sunshine grinned maliciously. Then how do you feel about seeing a more beautiful and successful version of yourself? Sunset's words got stuck in her throat as she contemplated her adult not self. She did look like she had achieved as much success as one could in this world. And she couldn't deny that she was much better looking than herself. Careful there. If I do make myself pass as your mother, you can't get the hots for me. Sunshine teased with a grin, and Sunset started to blush.
This situation is so weird, man.
It's not that weird.
Since you mentioned it, you still haven't explained why you want to be my mother,
she said, trying to move the conversation along. Sunshine took a moment to look more serious as she talked. I don't want to literally be your mother, but having me as a relative anchoring you to this world will give you a lot of help for your future. I don't know how you've been dodging legal matters until now, but getting a real job that requires to know about your origins will be a nightmare for you. I have money. We look enough alike to make the claim believable. And I have a friend that can make us all the necessary paperwork to fool anyone who starts asking questions. Sunset had to take a moment to process all of that. So Sunshine clarified. It is an offer. You can say no, and I will keep my distance and still help you deal with any legal troubles you may find in your future. Sunset sighed.
Before I give you an answer, I feel the need to ask you why you're doing this.
Sunshine chuckled. Do I really need a reason to help basically myself? She then added in a more serious tone. Besides, I wouldn't like to leave you dealing with such a complicated problem by yourself if I've the perfect way to solve it. Sunset put a hand on her forehead as her older not self ordered the milkshakes, trying to finish processing all that was happening and the offer she had been given. She would be lying if the prospect of a future career being denied due to her ties to Equestria hadn't been a concern she had from time to time. And having a backup in case things went bad and she couldn't afford her, for now, slightly not unstable way of living. She almost had a panic attack the first time she couldn't pay the rent of her apartment and thought she would be kicked out to the streets. Something that she never shared with any of her friends, in fear that they would also freak out about her situation.
And her being rich is not a bad extra.
Sunset let out a heavy sigh.
Still, I'm not sure how comfortable having a mother would be. Why did she say mother and not aunt? Aunt would have been a lot more inconspicuous. Like, there has to be some people who know this rich woman who is like, since when did you have a daughter? When were you pregnant even?
That's true, but also, when did she have a sister? Or brother? Or whoever? To become her
I don't know,
aunt?
it would be easier to explain away, I think.
Maybe. She looked at her older not self, a cold feeling seizing her heart.
I guess it's time to ask about them.
Seeing Sunset's distress, Sunshine pulled up a hand. There is one more question I would like to ask you. Sunset sighed.
Okay, what is it?
Sunshine smiled with malice. Besides me, what girl in your school do you find attractive? Well, this is concerning.
Right? This is really creepy.
Oh boy, oh boy. Hopefully we don't have to scrap this. Sunset's face immediately went completely red.
What?
Is it Wallflower, the scientific Twilight? Rainbow? Please tell me is Rainbow. Sunset crossed her arms, but couldn't hide a small smile as she looked away.
I'm not answering that.
Sunshine hit the table with her hand. Come on, girl. I've got good money on this. That made things better, apparently. Sunset raised an eyebrow.
Really? And who would claim that price?
Sunshine did a wave motion with her hand. Just a trusted friend. Sunset put her hands together in front of her mouth to hide her grin.
A friend who you can make bets about your younger interdimensional clone? How close are you two?
Sunshine smiled at Sunset's wit. Cheeky devil.
Says the one making bets about my love life. I don't think he will be a good influence on me.
Sunset said, jokingly. You're already a rebel biker.
Can't blame me for looking good in leather.
I actually came up with some designs based on your style. I would love to have you try them. Seeing Sunset laugh and be more relaxed, Sunshine decided to lessen her burden and answer the obvious question. My mother was the one that founded Sunward Destiny. I inherited it when I was mature enough to handle it, and survived my mother's training. Sunshine let out a puff of air. She can be quite difficult to manage when it comes to influencing my future.
Sounds rough,
Sunset said, not sure of how to act right now, with her feelings conflicted about if she should be happy or sad about what she was learning.
And Dad?
Sunshine raised a finger. Robotic engineer and programmer, but his work never really took off like Mom's did. She controlled basically all family matters, and he just followed along and worked on his passion. Sunset raised an eyebrow.
They didn't get along?
Sunshine dismissed the notion with her hand. Nah, they rarely argued, or at least they never did it in front of me. And hey, they are still married after almost 50 years.
Wait, they're alive?
Sunset exclaimed, almost jumping out of her seat.
Where are they?
Sunshine raised her hands. Hey, calm down. They moved overseas after I took over the company.
And why aren't you with them? How do you see each other?
Sunset asked, almost accusatorily. They were the ones who wanted to move away, and... Sunshine looked away, a bit of shame showing in her eyes. I kind of lost contact with them. We don't speak to each other unless it's some holiday or anniversary, and I haven't visited them in some years.
How can you do that? What if something happened to them and you didn't know? Don't you care about them?
Sunset screamed furiously, inadvertently getting the attention of everyone in the cafe. Sunshine stared a Sunset straight in the eyes. I do care for them, but I have my own life to take care of. One can't stay with their parents forever. Realizing she had angered her, Sunset sat back down.
I'm sorry. It's just...
She put her hands over her face.
I don't know.
Sunshine's glare softened. Sunset, did your parents die in Equestria?
I was an orphan.
She confessed, putting her hands down.
I was adopted by the ruler of my nation. I basically grew up as what you would consider medieval royalty. And then, well, I guess that wiki page already told you the story.
Sunshine sighed. I'm sorry for what happened to you. I shouldn't have called myself your mother. Sunset shook her head.
No, I'm not mad about that. It's just...
She struggled to find the words she wanted to say.
I never had a real family. Even with Celestia, I was just her pupil. I don't know how it feels to have one.
Sunset felt a lump rising in her throat.
I've only seen it from the outside with Applejack's family or Pinky's.
On the outside, always looking in.
Dear Sunset Shimmer, today is going to be a good day, and here's why.
She grabbed her hand tightly to hide that it was shaking.
I sometimes feel envy. They just look so happy together. And even if I have my friends to support me, I know it feels different.
Sunshine looked at Sunset, struggling with her emotions, feeling how the empty space where family love should be was pulling at her heartstrings painfully. She looked at the pendant hanging from Sunset's neck and had an idea. Would you like to know how it feels? Sunshine asked, offering her hand to her younger not self. It took Sunset a few seconds to realize what her older not self was offering, and felt her heart sink in her chest.
What is the pendant?
I think it's the geode that they got from the camp that gives them all special powers.
I'm confused at what she's offering.
You see, do you remember the thing in, what was it, A Christmas Shimmer?
Maybe?
Okay, so Sunset can see into people's minds if she touches them.
Oh, I see. So she can, like, go inside of Sunshine's mind and see exactly how it feels, basically?
I guess.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think she only ever really sees, like, emotions or whatever. Maybe she can also mind read? I don't know. Confusing.
But she could basically, like, feel the emotions that she's feeling, or does she only see the emotions? Like, as an aura?
I don't remember if there's actually, like, any feeling emotions, but she definitely can't see them as an aura.
Oh, okay.
She can see memories and stuff.
Oh, man. I want to see this in more fics.
Well, we should read more Sunset fics.
Man, but we've been reading so many Sunset fics, and this is the first one that really includes it.
A Christmas Shimmer did.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch that one.
Re-listen.
Oh no, I did it again. Can I really? Should I?
She questioned herself as her hand slowly moved towards the open palm.
They're not really. But even if it's just... I want to.
She gripped Sunshine's hand with desperation, her eyes turning white as she delved into the older woman's mind before eventually letting go. For Sunshine, it just took a few seconds. For Sunset, it lasted years. Years of family memories, of her mother teaching her to read and her father kissing her wounds better when she got hurt. She heard her mother singing to her with a beautiful voice when she felt sad, and her father's advice when she started dating, including his support when she told him she was interested in girls. Hey, wait a minute. Shut the fuck up for a second. This and A Christmas Shimmer are very similar. I just realized they both include Sunset Shimmer meeting her self.
Man. But was she gay in that one?
Probably.
Or bi?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Well, she's always bi. Yeah, I think it said that she was married to Twilight or something.
Oh. Perfect.
She saw the silly fights they had when she started her rebellious phase, and heard the laughs they shared when they went on vacations together. She rolled her eyes at her father's horrible jokes and at her mother's worries when she went to college. She saw the pride her mother felt for her when she finally inherited the company, and her father's amazement each time she made a painting in her spare time. And she also felt the heartbreak Sunshine experienced when they left, and felt horrible for questioning her love for them, because now she knew what having a family was. So you see, you didn't get that. Na-na-na-na-na.
This was her plan all along. She's just really
Just
mean.
Just wanted to be a dick.
They love you.
Sunset said, tears running down her eyes.
They truly love you.
Sunshine went over to give her a hug, and the teenager cried on her shoulder, sobbing and shaking. It's okay, Sunset. I'm sure that your parents loved you just as much, just not enough to keep you.
You don't know that! You can't say that!
The woman said as she stroked Sunset's hair to calm her down.
But why did they leave me behind? Would they be disappointed of what I did in Equestria? Disgusted of how I treated everyone in CHS? Would they be scared of me after what I turned into when I took the crown?
Sunset asked, her grip on Sunshine tightening as she cried and fell into despair.
They would be fucking proud of you!
Someone exclaimed behind them. Mr. Cake! Kidding. Sunset turned around and saw all of her friends standing in the center of the cafe, with Rainbow Dash at the front.
We were all eavesdropping! You're a goddamn hero, Sunset, and they would be blind if they didn't see it.
Applejack took a step forward before talking. You made mistakes big and small like we all do, but you earned everyone's forgiveness, and you did it with your own will and efforts. And you didn't stop there.
That was perfect.
Thank you. Pinky added, looking at Twilight and Wallflower. The purple girl grabbed one of her arms tightly as she spoke.
Even if I wasn't really myself at the time, you stopped me from committing an irreversible mistake. You saved me and gave me a place with your friends so I could heal and feel better about myself.
Wallflower couldn't look Sunset in the eyes, so her gaze turned towards the floor. When I took everything from you and then tried to erase your friends' memories, you had every right to hate me. But you didn't do that. I hurt you more than any other before, and you still wanted to be my friend. You make me feel better about myself, even if I feel like I don't deserve it. You keep trying to make me smile, because that's just who you are. Wallflower finally looked at her in the eyes. A wonderful person that does amazing things for others. Sunset looked at each of her friends through her tears, and at that moment, those same feelings of caring that Sunshine's family gave her were being shown in each of their eyes. "You know," the woman said with a smile, "I may have parents, but you have more friends than I ever had in all my life. You may not have realized it until now, but these girls are your family." What a pretty shitty family.
Yeah, there was that time that Pinky taught her how to tie her shoes because she wasn't used to human shoes. And Rainbow taught her how to read in English instead of equestrian.
That's a bad character to put on that task. Sunshine gave Sunset a gentle push, making her stand up from the seat and taking a few steps towards her friends. Fluttershy caught her in a warm hug, and one by one all her friends joined in.
Fluttershy didn't even say anything. Come on.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Fluttershy caught her in a warm hug, and one by one all her friends joined in, giving her all the love she had missed growing up. Sunset continued crying, but now she knew that as long as her friends were around, she would always be cared for. Sunshine stood up, sending Steer a message to pick her up. "You can think about my proposal and give me an answer when you feel ready," she said before walking towards the door, grabbing her milkshake from the waitress that had been standing behind the girls to not interrupt.
"Sunset, may I ask who that woman was?"
Rarity asked as they saw her leave with a smile. As confused as the rest of her friends, Sunset dried some of her tears and pulled out a black card from her pocket before handing it to her.
"She's the owner of a little business."
Rarity looked at the golden words and the card. Her pupils shrank, and she let out a high-pitched squeak and fainted.
That was a nice callback.
The end. And that was Where Is My Daughter? By the Sleepless Beholder. So yeah, I got that one wrong.
We both did.
Yep. It wasn't as depressing as I made it out to be-ish. And it also wasn't Ronald McDonald.
I wish it was Ronald. "Hey, Sunset, have you tried the new 5 for 5 meal?" I don't think that's McDonald's, but still.
5 for 5?
Just like, says he's her mom to advertise to her.
Alright, so yeah, that was Where's My Daughter by the Sleepless Beholder. Wizzy, what did you think of it?
I thought this one was really nice. Specifically the beginning and the ending. The middle was a little bit like, okay, where is this going? I don't know what we're doing. But yeah, I think the conclusion was very satisfying to this. And the setup made a lot of sense. Sunset did feel a little bit out of character at some points. At least as far as I know Sunset's character, as someone who's never watched Equestria Girls.
Yeah, I could kind of agree with that. I don't know if I would say that it's totally out of character, but I can definitely see where you're coming with that. I thought that, I don't know. Well, I liked it, definitely. But yeah, I would have rather the conversation between those two have been better. I don't know. I think a lot of the dialogue might have been a bit stilted.
Yeah.
But not that big of a problem.
I did really like the message at the end, though, where it's like, "You're the best, Sunset. Your parents suck for leaving you." And then she's like, "Maybe I do have a family." I just always like the found family trope.
Yeah. Found family is a great trope. You know, Wizzy, I kind of consider you my found family.
That's funny, because I consider you my biological family. That's right, the 23 in me is back.
Oh, boy. I was gonna make yet another abuse joke.
You're gonna have to stop making so many sexual comments about me, because that's right, we're related now.
Oops. That's just gonna make me go even harder. Babe. Well, anyways, I think that wraps it up.
Oh, that was a good amount of time, too.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You all should have gone down into the description and read the story for yourself, first and foremost. God damn it. I'm gonna kick myself later. Go down in the description and give it a like, since I was stupid and didn't tell you to go read it beforehand. That's my punishment. Don't give us a like, give the story a like.
To be fair, who knows if the story's even gonna be there when they click that link?
Fair point. And as punishment as well, don't share our podcast. Share that story. That's right.
Yeah.
We're going there. That's how good of a person I am. I place punishments on myself.
Just like a Tantabus.
Exactly, just like a Tantabus. I was thinking about that. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for listening.
See ya!
Sunset put a hand on her shoulder.
And then sneezed all over her.
God damn it.